Hi guys, Charmel here from FTwelve. There's been some confusion with taxpayers regarding the auto assessment that SARS introduced for the current filing season. And before I get into what a taxpayer should look out for, let me just give you background as to what that auto assessment is. So SARS requires third parties to submit tax-related information directly to them. And that would be from your employer, medical aid, retirement fund, that sort of thing. They then collate all the information per taxpayer and then pre-populates the tax return. Taxpayers no longer need to complete the majority of their tax return because the information has already been submitted to SARS and they've already populated. However, there's some information that SARS wouldn't have, and that would be, for example, if you have a business travel, is your kilometers that you've traveled. And if that is the case, then you wouldn't be able to use your auto assessment, but you would complete some elements within the tax return yourself. So as a taxpayer, there's really 5 things that you should be aware of. Firstly, you should have received communication from SARS regarding your auto assessment. And if that's the case, log on to your e-filing profile. And if you don't have a profile, then you need to create one on the website. Secondly, before you accept the return of your auto assessment, review all the information first. Use the supporting documents that you have received as well. If you are happy with what is contained in your auto assessment, then you can simply accept the return and submit. If there's information that is different or there's information that's outstanding, like kilometers you've traveled, then you need to edit it before you submit the return. I always, just as principle, like to always run a draft tax calculation before I submit, because it gives me a nice concise view of what information is contained in my return. Just be aware that the draft tax rate calculation still needs to be verified by SARS, which means that there could be changes to what you have in your calculation. Fourth is always make sure that your information is an acceptable format before you submit. Information needs to be maintained for a period of 5 years, and it's always just good practice to have that sorted before you do your submission. And lastly is make sure that you make any changes that you've picked up that you might have missed now, because we are 4 months away from the next close of the next tax season. So the auto assessment is really a brilliant initiative by SARS, but like all changes, it's not always easy, but it's definitely worth it. So good luck with the last few weeks of tax season. Goodbye.